we're live. And first of all, hello everybody. My name is Marc. I'm CEO of Swapzone, and it's our cryptocurrency interview series. And today we are joined by Marc from Aave with this awesome background. And I would love you to make like a little bit of an introduction for yourself, what you do, like how did you get into the crypto space, what you do at Aave, and for us to have a little bit more information.
Let's take the short version then. I'm Marc Zeller, and I'm the integration lead at Aave. I'm part of the integration team, and basically my job, in short, is to make third-party developer willing to build upon Aave financial protocol life easier. So basically, I know our contract architecture, and I'm here to navigate developers to build on it. Was introduced to crypto in late 2013 with Bitcoin, and I was not that much of a fan at the moment. And I came back to crypto late 2015 with Ethereum, and I fell in love and fell into the rabbit hole of Ethereum in 2015, and with a few friends, as you can hear it, I'm French with my Aave accent, and we created a non-profit around education and spreading knowledge and technical knowledge around Ethereum called Ethereum France, and we're organizing the ATC in Paris every year as an example. And I'm very happy to join Aave in late October 2019 for the preparation and the launch of the new Aave protocol that was launched in January this year. And now we are the third DeFi protocol with a bit less than 600 million active under management.
How would you define Aave? Like, what is the main point, and like how does it correlate? What is DeFi for you? What is all the space that you're working with?
So basically, one of the key things inside decentralized finance is the decentralized part. So basically, we had some incredible growth over the past 3 days on Aave. Because our market size went from 250 million-ish to around 600 million, all of that in 3 days. And the only way for that to happen, like more than 90% of that growth, is not due to directly us, but actually to the Wi-Fi liquidity mining hype and the work of Curve. And this is what is completely brand new in this new field of finance. Synergy works better than competition. So basically, right now, you can provide liquidity on Curve and very soon mine the token CRV. The Curve protocol will deposit your liquidity into YEarn, and you will mine the token Wi-Fi, and the YSwap protocol will deposit your liquidity on your behalf to Aave, and you will earn the Aave yield. So basically, you have like several layers of yield, and only in DeFi you can do that. There's no way in traditional finance you will have this kind of cool synergy where you can build bridges with other protocol and just be stronger together. And I think that's the main ethos and the main advantage of DeFi over the other financial protocol, because at the end of the day, lending, borrowing, there's nothing new in that. And even dividends or cashback or whatever we want to call it, there's nothing new in that. What is new is that we created a field that is transparent, auditable, and a financial ecosystem where synergy works better than competition. And I think that's a finance side like better than the old one.
Do you think that generally this synergy kind of phenomena is something that helps cryptocurrency space and like the blockchain space generally grow better and develop better? Because we often get asked like, oh, what are your competitors in the field? Like, what is your marketing advantage? What is your business advantage? Do you think it's more about like working together and kind of building things together than actually competing against each other?
Exactly, I completely agree on that. And with Aave, we emphasize a lot in our communication the fact that we are a family and we are an ecosystem. And basically, there's a lot of project that builds upon Aave because they find their market fit and they do something and they don't have to recreate everything because they focus on their core features and rely on the Aave protocol as an example or others protocol in the space for the other stuff. So you don't have to recreate everything. You can specialize in one thing you do very good, and that's it. And you will get your market for that. I think the best example of that is, for example, DeFi server. So DeFi server allows you to manage your CDP on MakerDAO or your position on Compound. And basically, they are called DeFi server because they are a liquidation prevention tool that will allow you to repay your loan before getting actually liquidated on MakerDAO or on Compound. And this little thing is so useful. And during the Black Thursday, probably save $2.5 million loss to the MakerDAO ecosystem and to their users. And this thing, they just charge us a very small fee of a few BPS of every event that do that. And in order to get the liquidity to do that, they use the flash loan from Aave. So the liquidity inside the Aave protocol. So this is a project of like 2.5 people that have their perfect product market fit, that is super useful, that relies and do synergy with like 2 or 3 different DeFi protocol, and they are very sustainable. I don't know if they publish their numbers, but we know their volume, and I think it's for a 2.5 member team, that's pretty good.
Have you actually been with Aave from the very beginning of the project, or did you join a little bit later?
So Aave, I'm since the beginning of the Aave, but Aave is the pivot and the rebrand of the Headland project that was actually initiated in 2017, which was a peer-to-peer lending protocol. And basically it was DeFi before DeFi. And I think in 2017, the ecosystem and the world toolings was not ready for DeFi. And we have to realize and be humble about the fact that each time you build something, you are sitting on upon the shoulder of giants. Because without MakerDAO, Aave cannot exist. Without MetaMask, Aave cannot exist. Without Truffle, Aave cannot exist. We all built a part of a common ecosystem, and we all contribute to the success of each other.
How would you actually, if you were to describe the goals of Aave like very, very shortly and kind of like super non-complex for like 5-year-olds, how would you describe what Aave does generally, except like the DeFi interconnectedness and like what are the main goals?
Well, there's 2 users of Aave. So one kind of user are the liquidity provider. So most of the time you have stable coins and you are looking for passive income. And basically, that liquidity you provide will be used by other actors that I will describe very shortly, and they will pay you interest, and we don't take a commission on that. And basically, Aave at the core, and I think that's the most of the user in terms of number, not in terms of volume, but in terms of numbers. A lot of users will stop at this point because it's a decentralized saving accounts. You are the owner of your money, and you have a savings account that you can control, you can withdraw anytime, you know that the money is there, very soon your money will be insured by the protocol, and it rewards you with order of magnitude higher yield than what you can find in traditional finance. And I think that's good enough as a narrative. And the other side, like the flip side, is that who is paying that yield to the depositor? Well, it's the people taking position that want to borrow, that want to do collateralized loans or uncollateralized loans because they want to make trading position on the market because they think a certain asset will increase in valuation or decrease in valuation in the future. And basically, there's pure synergy between those 2 sectors because the ones finds liquidity and pay for it, and the other provide liquidity and get paid for it.
And where does land as an asset stay in this like whole ecosystem? What is the main role of it, and how does it act?
So land, it's the well, the tokenomics will be released very soon, so I think I can say a few things. Land is at the core of this ecosystem. So basically, as I said, there's going to be a safety module of the protocol. We already heavily hinted it, but what is right now one of the main blockers to the mass adoption of DeFi is that regular people, when you talk to your parents or whatever, to my parents or whatever, they say, yes, on Aave, I can make 6 times what I make in my bank saving accounts. But what happens if there's a hacker? What happens if there's an issue? I know that if there's an issue with my bank, I will see my money back. I'm not sure of that on DeFi. And that's the truth. Right now on DeFi, if you deposit money on Compound, they have an insurance fund, but that insurance fund is order of magnitude lower than the assets deposited into the Compound protocol. And it's exactly the same thing on Aave and on every platform. And in order to change that, we will release very soon a protocol safety module. And basically, if you have land of the upcoming Aave token, you will be able to deposit it in a smart contract, what we call the staking, and you will earn 100% most of the protocol fees, but it comes with a price, because if there's, and we call that a shortfall event, a critical failure of the protocol, the land token holders will pay the bills. And basically, you get some reward, but for some work, because your work as a land token holder is to decide the future of the protocol with the governance. Is there a new asset listing? Does this asset is insured? What are the risk parameters of these assets? You get all the revenue of the protocol, but you are the line of defense, the main line of defense if there's an issue.
Yeah, this makes sense from the point of like the ecosystem and stuff. What do you think about actually the development of the space? So you're in cryptocurrency for a pretty long time. If you say that you've been interested first in 2013, that's a bunch of time ago. What do you think that we do now, like from the point of services, because Aave is at some point a services as well, and what is important and what are the milestones that are like kind of like trends at the moment that we should be interested in?
I think the next focus, and that will happen at the end of the year, will be to actually migrate most of DeFi in layer 2, because the Ethereum network bandwidth is completely congested, and right now we are all building a finance that is supposed to be decentralized and easily accessible to anyone. But the truth is that right now on DeFi, if you have less than $2,000, it's not worth it to use a Compound or Aave or any DeFi protocol, because the transaction fee you will pay to enter the DeFi ecosystem will be worth 3, 4, 5, 6 months worth of interest. So it makes no sense. And I'm not building, I'm not happy to build a finance where the small ones are not welcome. And one of the main solutions to that is to actually migrate a DeFi on layer 2. And it's a very complex topic, because all the synergy I talked about before, well, if Aave alone move to layer 2, we lose all our links with our friend of DeFi server, of our friend of Curve, of all the other ones. So we need everybody to move at the same time, or just move specific part of the protocols and maybe replicate them and invite the others to join us. And that will take time, but that's one of the main challenges of DeFi in 2020.
Do you have some solutions right now for this? Like, do you have plans for moving to second layer, or like, have you been discussing it with other projects? Because like, as you say, if we are to move, everybody needs to move, kind of. And so are there any plans for that, more or less like coherent?
Uh, so yes, what we have to understand is that Aave is a financial protocol that is based on many markets. So basically, you have the main market of Aave, which is around 580-ish million dollar right now. But you also have the Uniswap market, which was like the first alternative market. Very soon, we will release the set protocol markets, and so on and so on. And we will have a lot of markets like that. And for us, it only makes sense to just launch the layer 2 market. And that layer 2 market will be up for everyone to join if they want to deposit collateral and do borrowing on that layer 2. And if you want, for example, to have access to $500 million of liquidity right now, you are ready to pay the price and you will do it on layer 1. If you have maybe less amount and your needs are less high in terms of value, you can maybe start right on layer 2 as soon as we launch. And we think that it's allow us to do a smoother transition from layer 1 to layer 2 and actually have the two protocols and the same protocol but present on the two layers at the same time. And it will be up to anyone to choose which pools they want to interact with.
What do you think it is important now for all the people who would like to join DeFi? Like you have already mentioned that there are people who are like probably like parents. Like how do I explain my parents that they would probably want to go to DeFi, and like what are the main points they need to like consider and look for?
I think the best right now is to just download Argent, the wallet, on their mobile because it's super easy. They are compatible with Apple Pay and Google Pay or this kind of things. And my advice is to say, just buy $100 or $50 worth of stablecoin, maybe use DAI, for example, and deposit it on Aave or maybe on Compound or on one DeFi protocol and see what happens. Just try it. And on Argent, it's just a few clicks on buttons. And for the next 3 days, it's completely free to do if you want to interact with Aave because we are supporting the gas price for that. So just try. And that will be my first example, because when you see the interest grow directly inside the screen of your phone, you are realizing how easy and seamless it is. And all the other works that is around learning and do the extra step to maybe have a Ledger wallet or have a MetaMask browser extensions or this kind of thing will be easier because you will have realized what it is. So yeah, my advice, throw $50 or $100 at it, or even $10. It depends of what's an amount you are comfortable to play with, but just try.
That's a great advice. Like you don't really know if you don't try. But what do you think? Like, what is the encouragement of people going to DeFi right now? So is it the extra income? Is it just like general interest? What are the things that you probably use to kind of draw new people in, to make them interested, to provide information?
I think like the most important point and is underestimated is that on DeFi, you are for maybe the first time on your financial life, the owner of your money and in full control of your money. And that's something we are pretty used to after years into Ethereum or into the ecosystem. But it is something brand new and a paradigm shifter for newcomers, like using DAI for the first time, like buying a ticket on Pool Together or this kind of things. This is like life-changing for people. And we underestimate that because we are in the ecosystem for so long. But I think the most important point is to realize that you are the owner of your money and you can do whatever you want with it. And nobody is here to block you, to limit you, limit you or in any way. And I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I totally agree with that. As for you've mentioned the real world kind of scenarios when the blockchain space kind of connects to the crypto world where to the real world when you can buy like things, for example, with the money that you own truly.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an important tie that we should work in? I already asked this question in the interviews, and actually the answers are really interesting, because like, is it important to kind of like get those two together, to work together, and to kind of like think about the possibilities of connecting the real world to the crypto space, to DeFi space, to blockchain space?
Is it working? No.
Yeah. No, this is like
No.
I can't see anything. Oh yeah, now it is, like from time to time.
This is monolith. So this is the main connection. This is my main debit card, by the way. And basically you send DAI into it, and it's a Visa card, so you can use it in every country in the world, in most of the shop. And since COVID, well, you can pay with debit card everywhere now. Thank you. We can thanks the pandemic to that. And basically, it's already happened. Like right now, that might sound alien, but I'm paid in ADAI every month. And when I need to pay my rent, I use a very cool service called Money.tech, so Money.tech, that allow you to send some DAI, and they will do a wire transfer to anyone you want. And so that's how I pay my rent and my and a few bills. When I do my groceries and I spend things, I use my Monolith card. When the computer I'm using right now and the headphones I'm wearing right now are all financed by Aave loans, and even my phone. Like, you can be 100 DeFi right now, as of today. Obviously, right now, we are a very small minority, but I think that will become the norm in the next few years.
When you talk about it, it is very simple. Like, you use the card, you use the services, they all facilitate it. But probably the main thing is now it's adoption. It's kind of like getting the ideas out there. So does Aave actually take care of this, like, spreading of the message and kind of educating people on how easy it can be? Like, you're a great example. Like, you pay your rent with cryptocurrency, which is like, well, when people are not ready for it, they're like, whoa, that's insane. Like, what? And do you think it's on us and it's on your job as well to kind of get this together, to probably like explain people that it's not that hard?
That's the most interesting part of being a community. It's not only your job, it's the everybody job, and every contribute in their own way. Like MetaMask, when they do a wallet that is so easy to use, they did a huge part of that. Argent, by creating this seamless DeFi experience, they are working on that. And basically, we encourage that. So, for example, we paid for more than a month of all the gas price for the Argent user interacting with Aave. We are stopping at the end of this week, but we will come back because we are releasing critical things with the protocol in the upcoming weeks. But after that, we will probably restart this campaign. And everybody is doing a great job at making things super easier. Like, if you compare the user experience in Ethereum in general right now of what it was in 2017, it's life-changing. It's completely different. And I'm pretty sure that in a couple of years, we will have Ethereum 2, scalability, even better UX, even better experience, and it will be so easy to use. So I'm not really scared about mass adoption, because a lot of people are building together the tools to make sure they will have a fun time inside Ethereum.
What do you think are the main challenges of like this path of adoption, of bringing it to the real world, kind of like enhancing the user experiences and all these things from your personal perspective?
I think the main challenge is that mass adoption comes before the actual scalability. So basically, the hype around blockchain comes back as we lived through it in 2017, or we lived through it in 2013. And basically, if that hype goes back, and like today, for example, well, the gas price is already 80 GY, so it already costs like dozens of cents to send Ethereum, a few dollars to use Aave. But if we have like millions of users coming overnight into Ethereum, it would cost like hundreds of dollars to use Aave. So it makes no sense. And basically, they will get inside Ethereum, try to use the things and then just lose all their money paying transaction fee, and they will not come back until a few years. So I really want we have mass adoption, but we have a lot of work, and we should not think encourage it to be too soon. We still have work to do before being ready for mass adoption, but we are getting closer and closer. Ethereum 2.0 phase 0 will happen this year. I'm ready to bet on that. DeFi starting on layer 2 will happen this year. I'm ready to bet on that, and I'm well placed to say that. And yeah, so we are very, very close.
This all sounds very positive because no, like, of course, there is a trouble that we're kind of a little bit lagging behind, like all this hype that goes in front of us, basically. But your predictions generally for the development of the blockchain space and its use, they seem quite optimistic, I think. And you don't feel like any threat to that, to the mass adoption happening.
No, the worst can happen is that they come too soon and they will have to come back 6 months later. It's all right.
Hopefully they don't lose the interest in that point. But if it's a hype, then it doesn't really have this kind of problem. Okay, this is great. This is like pleasant to hear somebody being optimistic about how we develop. And the last thing that I probably would like to ask you to kind of conclude everything is for the people who are already kind of thinking about this as a hype and considering jumping aboard, what do you think is the first important thing besides trying and besides like doing the research? What do they need to look for and what do they need to kind of expect?
I think there's a lot of ways to interact with DeFi, and especially in what we call yield farming right now. And people don't realize that you cannot have 3-digit yield without risk. And what is really important is to understand that what are the risks involved, because we are talking about synergies, but also inside synergy, when a protocol deposit liquidity onto another protocol, which the deposit liquidity into another protocol, will gonna deposit the IOUs of that liquidity into a fourth protocol, and so on and so on. You kinda putting a smart contract risk within a smart contract risk within a smart contract risk within a liquidity risk within another smart contract risk. So if you are not aware of the risk, maybe you should not try, because of course it's highly profitable and right now, but it will not last forever because 3-digit APY are not sustainable, and it will not be like that for months and months and months. So it's like a gold rush right now, but there will be less opportunity in the future. But yeah, please understand the risk. Feel free to follow the communities. We are very active in the French one, but we are also active in the international ones. You are more than welcome, for example, in our Discord for asking all your questions, even with other protocols, because as I said, we are a family and an ecosystem. So we are more than happy to support the users, whatever they do. And yeah, inform yourself as much as you can, and don't feel afraid to ask questions, because this is one of the best points of our community. Everybody is willing to help you.
This is great work. Thank you very much for all this information. I believe that it's very useful for everybody who will watch the interview later. And I would like to just reintroduce you again for everybody who kind of forgot probably in somewhere in the middle. We are joined by Marc Zeller of Aave today, and he had found some time to talk about all the great things that they're doing, and it's really a lot to expect, and it all sounds great. I love to see you being optimistic about everything. It's fantastic.
Thank you very much. Talk to you.